So I promised you some sailing action by the end of this week when this video is being made, and I have failed. This is not entirely surprising because, as always, my mind is rather larger than the scope of my hands when it comes to jobs, and working on old ladies like this one, you find problems that you thought that weren't going to be a problem but actually turned out to be a problem, like the fragility of some of the veneers in the boat is quite frightening at the moment, and so there are places where they're just going to have to be replaced. To be fair, it's not the wood veneers that are causing the problem, it's mostly the cheap nasty Formica, which was no doubt all the rage when it was put on, but hasn't aged very well overall. So there is some serious moves towards going sailing though, and as a declaration of intent, I am putting the staysail back on deck, ready to go. That hook needs oiling because it has become very stiff. I love this staysail, it's just so gorgeous to have a proper sail with piston hands and everything. I know it's much more efficient having roller sails, but I actually really like having at least one full sail. It doesn't rely on anything except the piston hanks and a bit of wire. It's time. I need to transfer the pumps into some new bottles of resin. The old bottles are completely knackered and they're also empty, so instead of just topping them up from the store of bulk resin I went to the trouble of getting some new bottles because they're a convenient size to take on the boat. Resin is just such a useful thing to have available because it allows you to repair stuff, repair glass fibre, and it may make quite structural repairs. The main reason that I'm not out sailing this week is in fact because I decided, stupid me, that it would be a good idea to reinstall the cleat on the foredeck that had come off when we put the anchor windlass in. It does need to go back on, and it was the right thing to do, I suspect, because it will make anchoring a lot safer, but it did involve the best part of a day and a half standing upside down in an airless hellhole, followed by another day and a half of laminating resin onto the deck head above my head, covering myself and quite a lot else in resin in the process. Apparently this is fairly standard when you're laminating above your head, and probably I should have picked a less challenging target for my first major piece of glass fibre work. It hasn't turned out too badly, so I'm counting myself lucky and will be taking more care next time. I've also had some issues this week with difficulties with audio recording on the small cameras, and in fact some problems with batteries too, so some of the footage that I thought I'd filmed of the cleat being installed on the top deck are not actually there, so I'll just show you a few fragments of what was recorded. It doesn't particularly matter how these lines are orientated in relation to the hull, just that they're centered, so that subsequently when we've drilled the really big hole we can find out where it should go. The next thing I'm going to do is find out where the other hole has to go, and for that purpose I'm going to use this pair of vernier calipers, and I'm kind of abusing them slightly because what I'm using them for is just to mark off the distance between the centres of the two bolts. These bolts are actually slightly bent, so I'm probably going to have to take the cleat down to Fergie and see if with the application of some heat he can recondition the cleat so that the backing plate's straight and the bend in the bolts is taken out. That's about it.